Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the June 28th, 2023 Community Preservation Committee meeting. This meeting is an online-only meeting and being conducted live and by remote participation pursuant to the executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law signed by Governor Baker, taking effect March 12th, 2020, and subsequently extended through March 31st, 2025, under Governor Healy. At this point in time, I would ask for a motion to open the meeting, please.
So made.
Seconded.
Okay, who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Richard Terry.
Thank you, Richard. And John or Michael seconded it. Because we are online only tonight, everything will be done by roll call. So John Morton,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Don Brady,
Yes.
Larice,
Yes.
John Linehan,
Yes.
Ola Bumney,
Yes.
Rich Terry,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Let's see. First item of business is the approval of the revised grant agreement form and the MOU form. These were sent out initially by myself, and Barry has followed that up, our program administrator. Barry, do you need to add anything to the latest edition as far as explanation to everybody, or shall I open it up to questions or comments?
I just want to say generally that we did take the comments from Brian Winter and incorporate them into what we had come up with before his review. And I think we've got a pretty good document. And I appreciate everyone on this committee who's contributed their 2 cents. So I think we're good to go.
Okay. Do the committee members have any comments or questions about the documents that were sent?
I am good with them.
Excellent. I'm hearing nothing. If that's the case, I would like to, or I would accept a motion to approve the grant agreement and memorandum of understanding that you have before you.
So moved.
I second with the understanding that we're going to also have separate votes on the conditions of each separate grant.
We most certainly are, John. That is correct. So Michael, you made the motion and John Morton seconded it. With that said, I will open it up for any discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I will take a roll call vote. John Morton,
Yes.
Michael Barrett,
Yes.
Don Brady,
Yes.
Larice,
Yes.
John Linehan,
Yes.
Ola Bumney,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So John Morton, as you said, the second item is for the approval of all specific grant agreements and MOUs. There are 6 pieces before us. One for a private grant agreement with the Stoughton Youth Baseball that had 3 conditions to it, and 5 through the town memorandum of understanding that we just approved. That would be the Cape and Reynolds, the Hanson Playground, Atkinson Ave parking, Gregenska's property purchase, and the railroad stabilization MOU. I would like to, why don't we do the Stoughton Youth Baseball grant agreement first, if that's agreeable to everybody?
Yeah, if you want, I can present it so that you can
Yes,
see
Barry.
it.
Yeah, I
Please.
think all we need to see is the special conditions.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
all. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up.
That's a separate
I'm just gonna-
document.
I'm just going to find it.
Go right ahead, Barry, whenever you're ready. While we're waiting, there are 3 conditions. The first one being that this grant is valid for the purposes delineated in the application submitted to the CPC by the applicant on June 29th, 2022 is revised. The second one was the warranty period of the lighting equipment financed by this grant is 10 years. If during that time period, said equipment is removed by applicant or replaced by applicant with non-CPA eligible equipment, The grant shall be refunded in full to the town of Stoughton's Community Preservation Fund. For the purposes of this grant agreement, the 10-year period shall run July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2033. And I see now that Barry has them up, so I won't read the third one.
Well,
Unless-
I have a real problem with that second condition.
Okay,
The problem, first of all, I don't know what it means to replace something with non-CPA eligible equipment. I mean, because any equipment is eligible if it's approved in advance. The
so
second thing
let's
is,
have Barry explain that piece first, John. Barry?
Yeah, this is basically if they remove the equipment. I don't know that there's any way to replace the equipment with non-eligible equipment. It's basically if they decide they're just gonna pack up and leave and not participate anymore. I guess the point of it is to maintain the equipment without, without replacing it with something that doesn't suit the purpose.
okay, I don't think that's understandable in the long run. I mean, I think if a judge were to read that, he wouldn't know what to make of it. And I think the fact that the second part is the grant shall be refunded in full to the town is also problematic. I mean, if they have it for 9 years and then decide that, for example, there's a new lighting technology that saves money electrically or something, and they take this out and put that in, I think for them to have to refund the whole amount of the grant to the Community Preservation Fund is a bit much. And I again go back to say I don't understand the first part.
Let me, while we're here, let me just change it and take out, let me try taking that out.
So hang on a second, Barry. I think if I'm hearing what John's saying, and I would tend to agree with him, having the grant be refunded in full may be a bit much, but we could prorate the grant. Would that make more sense, John?
Yeah, the best way to do it is to say maybe 1/10 per year for 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So we could just simply, rather than get into details, say we will prorate, refund it as prorated. Does that make better sense to you, John?
Yeah.
Our
As
base,
prorated linearly over 10 years. As prorated linearly over 10 years.
Would
Okay.
would it be amortized over 10 years?
Well, yes, that you could say as amortized, but it's, yes, either way. either way.
depreciated was the word I used with regard to the Hanson playground.
You could refer to it as the unamortized portion of the equipment over their 10-year period.
Okay.
That was pretty much the phrase we used to use in leases for our stores, the unamortized value of the equipment.
Unamortized.
Unamortized, yeah. Value of the equipment
Of the equipment.
shall be refunded to the town.
But it has to stay over a 10-year period.
Yeah, you can put that in.
Sort of straight line amortization.
Yes, that's important.
Okay. I have
Okay,
no issue with that. Do you see it all there, folks?
I'm changing it. Is what I'm working on visible to everyone?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see it as you change
Yes.
it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so how does that look?
The second piece looks fine. I think we need to address the technically second sentence. If during that time period said equipment is removed by applicant. How about, John, what if we said said equipment is removed by applicant without
Replacement.
without replacement or without knowledge?
Well, I
Notification.
I
Without
don't
no-
know that, for example, the lights, if they're not used, are useless also, but we're not gonna have, it's been possible to deal with that if they're still usable. And I guess removed is another issue. You know, I would say removed. What if they're replaced? Uh, I don't know.
So, I'm looking at the third item, which clearly determines that the lighting equipment and scoreboards are the property of the town of Stoughton. Do we really need that second sentence at all? Or does it not infer it?
The third point specifically talks about the license agreement.
Right.
Yep.
But it
doesn't
also
address-
names the town of Stoughton as the owners of the equipment.
Yeah, but the second point kind of implies if they get rid of, if they throw the equipment away, if they get rid of the equipment, they could still have their license agreement.
So maybe removed by the applicant without authorization or replacement. Does that,
I like
Cover it.
that. Is that authorization from the CPC or the town?
I think we have to make it by the town in general, but I don't know what everybody's thoughts are.
Town is the owner, so it should be the
Right.
town.
Right. John,
I-
how does number 2 feel for you now?
It's fine now, I think.
Okay,
Number 3, I have a problem with. I would say, as part of this project shall become the property of the recreation department of the town, because we can't give it to the town. We can give it for recreational purposes, but not for the, doesn't seem to me we can give CPA property to the town.
but the town owns the property, so
Yeah,
And
but for
the lit-
recreational purposes, it seems to me. I'm
So-
trying to think about our mandate. We can't,
for the use of the fields in Elm Street expires and if otherwise terminated, lighting equipment, scoreboards funded under the CPA part of the town should become the property of the town of Stoughton through the recreation department? How does that sound?
Why don't we
well,
say, and shall
if the
remain,
town
in-
doesn't want to use the property for recreation, I don't know. I guess after 10 years, if that's the useful life, our jurisdiction on the property expires.
Correct.
So that it could go to the town of Stoughton on second thought for any purpose, because we only control the recreational use for 10 years.
Correct.
So, okay, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments on these 3 items before we look for a motion? Hearing nothing, I would accept a motion to accept the grant agreement special conditions for the Stoughton Youth Baseball project or article.
So
as
moved.
amended.
Second,
Okay, so Michael, you made the motion. John Morton, you seconded it. Any discussion on the motion at this point?
And that was as amended, correct?
As amended, yep.
Yep. Thank you, Barry. So if there's no questions, Barry, could you stop presenting on this so I can see all the members?
Sure, hold on a moment.
Thank you. All right. On the motion, Don Brady,
Yes.
John Morton,
yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Larice,
Yes.
John Linehan,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
Ola Bumney,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. All right, we have 5 more to go. These are all memorandums of understanding. We'll start with the Capen, please, Barry,
Yep,
because that's the first one up.
okay, hold on. Okay, that should be up now.
It is.
Yeah, I got it. Do you need me to read it, folks, or are you pretty much there?
I'm there.
Because I'm participating by phone, I can't. I can't really make it big enough.
Well, why don't we read it out loud then? It's very short. You want
Okay.
me to? I'll read it.
Go ahead, Barry.
Condition 1, grant money for portions of the project funded by the Town of Stoughton CPA Fund, which is awarded by outside organizations, shall be reimbursed to the CPA Fund in full, including funds awarded by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and by private organizations such as the Stoughton Foundation. Condition 2, funds which were already deducted from the amount of the CPA grant prior to town meeting approval, which were contributed by the Town of Stoughton Conservation Commission and by the Friends of Cape and Reynolds Farm, are exempt from this reimbursement requirement.
Okay. Questions or comments, folks?
I think it's terrific.
Mhm.
It works.
Okay. Rich, where this is kind of your baby, are you comfortable with the conditions?
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Yep.
So I would accept the motion to accept the two conditions we have before us on the Cape and Reynolds Dog Park and Community Gardens project.
I move to accept the conditions.
So John Morton made the motion, John Linehan seconded it. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. By roll call, Michael Barrett,
Yes.
Ola Bumney,
Yes.
John Linehan,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes,
Clarice,
Yes.
John Morton,
Yes.
Don Brady,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. All right, can you pull up the
Okay.
next one, Barry?
Yep.
You want to do the hand, what's next for you?
It's Hanson. I guess I'll have to stop sharing and restart it.
Yep, go ahead and pull up the Hanson.
Okay, this one is quite a bit longer.
All right, well, seeing as how John Linehan's working off his phone, why don't we read this out? I'll give you a break. I'll read this one. Item number 1, this grant is valid for the purposes delineated in the application submitted to the Community Preservation Committee by the applicant on November 30th, 2022, as revised on December 16th, 2022. Second item, applicant agrees to maintain or if necessary to replace the playground equipment funded by this grant for the duration of its expected useful life. The expected useful life of the playground equipment financed by this grant is estimated at 20 years. Item 3, if during the 20-year period running from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2043, the playground ceases to function as a recreation facility available for public use at no cost, the grant shall be refunded to the Town of Stoughton Community Preservation Fund at the current depreciated value of the equipment plus any unexpended project funds. Temporary closures of the facility for maintenance and repair, seasonal closures, or closures due to other weather-related causes, temporary closures for public health concerns, and temporary closures due to other similar emergencies are exempted from this requirement. Item 4, all procurement shall be done in accordance with the procedures referred to in the communication between the procurement office, the Community Preservation Committee, and the applicant. The components of the project that must be competitively bid are as follows: installation of playground structures at $150,000 estimated, poured rubber surface at $150,000 estimated, and construction of drainage at $200,000 estimated. Item 5, the CPC in its application states that priority will be given to proposals that include accommodations for disabled people, including measures which address the provisions and promote the aims of the Americans with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as ADA. The project shall include at least some ADA compliant equipment that can accommodate users with mobility related issues and with sensory related issues, as was discussed during the hearings on the project. Item number 6, conveyance. If ownership, control, and/or management of the playground equipment purchased under this memorandum and/or that of the property upon which it is installed is sold, transferred, or otherwise conveyed to a different entity, whether public or private, the successor entity shall be bound by all conditions contained in this memorandum. The conveying entity shall inform the CPC of its intent to convey at least 60 days in advance and shall notify the successor entity of its obligations under this memorandum and shall provide it with a copy of same prior to conveyance. Transfer of management responsibility for the playground between town departments shall be deemed a conveyance for the purposes of this provision. And that is it. Discussion on any of those 6 items?
Yeah, I have a question, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
First of all, who is the applicant here? Is it the Recreation Department?
Stoughton Public Schools.
No,
Public schools? All right. The question then is, who has to repay us if the system doesn't work? The public schools have to repay us?
Barry, I'm going to let you float that one, but I believe that is correct, John.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, is this grant application the municipal type or the private type?
Municipal.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is a memorandum of understanding. What it basically, we can't enter into a formal agreement with ourselves, if you think about it. So this is designed to put into place, some semblance of rules as to how this is going to work. And some assurances that they won't turn the school into condos 2 years from now. And we've invested $1 million into a condo association where they privatize the playground for their own use,
Well, I agree with that. I'm comfortable with it. There are circumstances that we can't envision where this could become problematic, but for the most part, I think it's fine.
This does allow for is the schools could say, look, we're moving the school for whatever reason, but they could, come to the recreation department and say, we'd like you to take over the playground as a public use facility. I mean, recreation already has one at the, I'm sorry, my school identification is poor, the Wilkins School. That is controlled through the recreation department. So there isn't, it's not unprecedented that they would do so or could do so.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's fine with me.
Anybody else have any questions or comments on this?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Then I would accept a motion to accept the
I have a quick
special
question.
conditions for the MOU for the Hanson Playground.
We
I have a
have a
quick
question.
Reese?
Oh, hang on a second.
Oh,
Olabumney has
boy.
a question. Go ahead, Olabumney.
Can you elaborate more about the West School? What are the, what's the school called now? The
This school
Wilkins
is-
School?
This school
Tell me
is
more.
the Hanson School.
No, but you said that the Wilkins School has, the playground that they just built a few years ago. You said that's also controlled by the rec. And you're saying we can envision a circumstance like that happening again. What exactly what's the
No,
situation?
I apologize if I misled you. What I'm saying is that the recreation department already maintains a playground at the Wilkins School. So there is precedent that the recreation department could certainly handle it.
Okay, so they'll be maintaining this playground as well. It'll be funded by us, the rec department. We'll
The
maintain
school,
Hanson.
no, the school system is going to maintain this particular, the Hanson School playground at this time.
Can I clarify something? This is Louise.
Please, Larry, still.
The reasoning for this is the playground itself is on town-owned land, not land that's school departments. It's part of the West School Athletic Complex. That's why recreation has the overseeing of it. It's not owned by the school department.
Whereas the Hanson playground is on school property.
Correct.
And this is basically allowing that if sometime in the next 20 years, this property would become something other than school property, they would have the right to make the playground town property and make it more like the Wilkins.
Correct.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, what I'm envisioning is if at some point, for example, they convert the Hanson School to affordable housing, as long as they keep the playground open to the public free of charge, they're still in compliance.
All right, if there's no further questions, I would accept a motion to accept the special conditions on the memorandum of understanding for the Hanson Playground.
So moved.
Second,
Michael, you made the motion, and was it John Morton that seconded it?
but anybody, I don't care.
Yes, it was John Morton. Yes.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing nothing by roll call. Michael,
Yes.
Larice,
Yes,
John Lenahan,
Yes,
Ola Bumney,
Yes.
John Morton,
Yes,
Don,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Thank you. Next one is, what are you putting up?
I'm going to put up Atkinson.
Excellent. So there's 3 on this. There it goes. You want to read it, Barry?
Yeah.
Can you enlarge it a little bit, by the way?
Yep. Hold on. Let me see.
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. Number 1, condition 1, because the town of Stoughton acquired the property using CPA funds, the town shall file a conservation restriction covering both parcels of said property so acquired, numbers 061-010 and number 062-012, which meets the requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, Section 12, and Chapter 184, Sections 31 through 33, with the Mass Division of Conservation Services, DCS. 2, said conservation restriction shall be filed with DCS no later than June 30th, 2026. 3, subsequent to full approval by DCS, the town of Stoughton shall file a copy of the approved conservation restriction with the Registry of Deeds within 30 days of said approval.
Any questions on these 3 conditions?
I'm going to add one word. I left out the word "the" and putting it back in
Okay, thank
the
you.
paragraph.
I mean,
looks
it's,
good.
yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This is something you have to do. You have to get a conservation restriction on property that's bought with CPA funds. If there's no questions or comments on this, I would accept a motion to accept the special conditions for the memorandum of understanding for the Atkinson Ave parcel.
I have one question, Mark.
Please
We have
do.
a deadline, albeit 3 years from now.
Yeah,
What if they're struggling to find a party to take it and they miss that deadline?
They can always come back to us and ask for an extension. My understanding now is that they have contacted Wildlands Trust, who holds the CR on Glen Echo, and that Wildlands Trust is interested in doing it. So
And so do we need to mention the possibility of that extension as part of the wording of the of the covenant, whatever?
it's
That's all.
it's in the larger agreement. It's in the MOU that they can request an extension.
so these are
Okay.
just special conditions. It covers that in the MOU itself, Michael.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with the 3 years. That's a long time.
Oh,
although
yeah, no, I was too. And I know we had talked about that they had already been in touch with Wildlands Trust. It's just
Yeah.
curious.
And I'll
as-
be honest, if we had a situation like we did at Glen Echo, the special conditions wouldn't necessarily be written this way. They might, have a longer extension of time. I think this is something we can, because it's a special condition, we can do it on a case-by-case basis. So,
I'm good with it.
okay. So I need that motion to accept the memorandum of understanding for, okay. For the Atkinson
I'm sorry,
Ave.
who made that motion?
John Lenahan.
Okay,
John Lenahan made the motion. Do I have a second?
second,
Okay, John.
Michael,
I'm
second.
going to give that to Michael that time.
Okay, yeah, okay. No problem.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. By roll call, John Linehan,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes,
John Morton,
Yes.
Rich,
yes,
Don,
yes,
Larice,
Yes,
or Labumney,
yes,
and the chair votes yes. Thank you. Next up, we're getting close now.
Yeah, next one is going to be the Grubenskus property.
There are 5 restrictions here. Do you want me to read them, Barry?
Yeah, let me just put it up on the screen. Hold on. Why am I not getting it? Hang on a moment.
it's up.
Oh, it was up. Sorry about
It
that.
was up, yeah.
It was. Sorry. Let me try again.
I have them on my computer, so I'm going to start reading them.
Yeah, okay.
First, that the town of Stoughton shall, as a condition of its acquisition of the subject property, have a satisfactory environmental evaluation of the property performed under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 21E, prior to the acquisition. Item 2, the treasurer of the town of Stoughton shall certify that there are no outstanding unpaid taxes or assessments on the property, subject property, prior to its acquisition by the town. 3, subsequent to acquiring legal ownership of the property, subject property, the town of Stoughton shall file a conservation restriction which meets the requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, Section 12, and Chapter 184, subsections 31 through 33, with the Massachusetts Division of Conservation Services. Item 4, said conservation restriction shall be filed with DCS no later than June 30th, 2026. And item 5, subsequent to full approval by DCS, the town of Stoughton shall file a copy of the approved conservation restriction with the Registry of Deeds within 30 days of said approval. Questions or comments? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to accept the Grubenskus property memorandum of understanding special conditions?
So moved.
second,
So motion was made by John Linehan, seconded by Richard Perry. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. John Linehan,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes,
Rich,
yes,
John Morton,
Yes.
Don,
yes,
Olabumney,
yes,
Larice,
yes,
and the chair votes yes. Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the Stoughton Depot.
Yes, the special conditions for the MOU for the Stoughton Depot. Barry, you want to read this one?
Yeah, let me just get it up on the screen. Okay. Special condition number 1, because then I'm going to do the same thing, going to add the word "the."
Yep.
The town of Stoughton acquired the subject property using CPA funds. The town shall file with the Massachusetts Historic Commission a historic preservation restriction for the building, which is consistent with the requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, Section 12, and Chapter 184. Said restriction shall be filed with the MHC no later than June 30th, 2024. 3, subsequent to approval by the MHC, the town of Stoughton shall file a copy of the approved restriction with the Registry of Deeds within 30 days of said approval.
Any discussion or comments? Hearing nothing, I would accept the motion to accept the special conditions for the MOU for the Stoughton Depot grant.
So moved.
Was that you,
Second.
John Linehan? That was you?
Yep.
And John Morton, you seconded?
Yes.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none by roll call. Let's see, Larice,
yes,
Olabumney,
yes,
John Morton,
Yes.
John Brady,
yes,
John Linehan,
Yes.
Rich,
yes,
Michael,
yes,
and the chair votes yes. You like that I mixed it up, didn't you, John?
I assumed you were gonna miss somebody by mixing it up.
No, I just felt badly. The women were at the end here, so I needed to give them priority, you know?
Good going, Mr. Chairman.
One last thing, I would like a motion to allow the chair, vice chair, or treasurer to sign the memorandums of understanding and or grant agreements we have with the town. So it's authorization to sign on behalf of the CPC.
So move.
Second,
So John and John Morton made the motion. He beat him to the punch. John Linehan seconded it. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, by roll call, Reese,
Who's that?
by roll call on the motion,
Clarice,
Yes.
okay. Ola Bumney,
Yes.
John Morton,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
John Linehan,
yes.
Rich,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes,
the chair votes yes.
I'm
Thank-
disappointed you followed the same route again twice in a
Yeah.
row.
You
I'm
caught
just
me
trying to
off
get the
guard.
women- I'm just trying to get the women ahead, that's all. Trying to even it up a little. Item number 4, this is just a reminder on CPC terms that are expiring. Dwight McCarron's is expiring this year. Ola Bundy's is expiring, Rich Terry's, and John Morton's. Somebody's hand just went up. Rich
Rich,
Terry. Go ahead, Rich.
Yes, this was brought to my attention about several weeks ago, and I brought it before the planning board at our last meeting, and it was recorded as part of the minutes, and I was voted to continue for a second term.
Wonderful, thank you. And
very
and I
good.
appreciate that information, and congrats, and
Thank you.
welcome again.
Congratulations.
Thank
If I could just state that, I believe you need to be sworn in for
Yeah.
your renewed
Yeah.
term. So if everyone could do that with the town clerk and then just email me when you have been sworn in.
So said, so done. I will take care of that, sir.
Thank you, Rich. John Morton, did you have a discussion at Concom on this yet?
Yes, in fact, the Concom voted specifically to, to appoint me as their representative again.
Great.
Excellent. Congrats
Great.
and
Congratulations.
Good to know.
follow the same route. Please get sworn in again at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
Ola Bumney, you were a resident appointee. Do you have an update for us?
Yeah, so I spoke to Deborah Roberts, Select Board, and she said they'll bring it up on the next meeting on the 5th of July.
Wonderful.
I know I
Good.
saw an advertisement for it.
Yeah, I know they
Yep.
advertised it. Just keep us posted. You still serve as a member until they either vote to reappoint you or replace you. So you're here
Okay.
with us until further notice.
All right. Thanks.
But thank you.
I'll let you know.
Do,
Okay.
please. Thank you. We don't have Dwight with us tonight, so we'll have to catch up with him at our next meeting. Who else was up?
Barry, can you just send him a reminder?
I will do that, yes.
Thank you.
And that would be all of us, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other unanticipated new business or emergency matters to come before us tonight?
Nope.
I just have one thing, 2 related items. We've been talking with some people, developers who are interested in possibly providing the town with some affordable housing through projects they're working on. I may have mentioned this in the past, but we're getting much closer to that and hope to have more information by our August meeting on one or both of those items. Speaking of which, we currently have our next meeting set as August 2nd. Is that correct, Barry?
Yes.
I'm thinking we'll set it at August 2nd. We all have busy summers. However, if something comes up, you may receive an email asking that we come together again in July at some point to discuss a pressing matter if we do in fact have a pressing matter. Also, just for general awareness, as is the habit of all committees in town, we will be reorganizing at our August meeting. So keep that in the back of your heads. With that said, I would accept that favorite motion.
So made.
You didn't have to say it. We got to adjourn.
Seconded,
Do we have a second on it?
second,
By roll call. One more time. Larice,
Yes.
Olabamdi,
Yes.
Michael,
yes.
Rich,
Yes.
John Morton,
Yes.
John Linehan,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. See, I mixed it up again on
You
you.
pick it up, yeah.
And I'm surprised I got everybody.
Wrap
Uh,
it.
with that, I want to thank everybody for taking the time tonight and the public for watching. Have a great evening and a good 4th of July. Safe.
Have a good 4th of
Thank
July, everybody.
You too.
To everybody.
Bye.
Thank you all.
You too.
Take care, everybody.
Good night,
Happy
everybody.
Very quick, Barry.
Good night.
Thank you.